In the heart of London's bustling West End stood the Grand Regency Grand Hotel, a five-star gem that had seen better days in its online reviews. Guests grumbled about slipping standards and indifferent service, yet the manager insisted all was flawless. That's when the owner decided to see for himself, in disguise. No one glancing at the man polishing the gleaming marble floors in the opulent lobby would have guessed he owned the entire chain. But that's precisely what Edmund Harrington, millionaire, proprietor of the Harrington Hotels Group, was doing that crisp morning, dressed in a worn navy overall. A1P, Ted the new temporary cleaner. The plan had felt inspired the night before. Staff never spoke freely to the big boss, but they might to a fellow worker. As he worked near the reception desk, a young woman burst through the revolving doors, windswept auburn hair, creased uniform, court shoes clutched in one hand, and a large takeaway coffee in the other. "Bloody hell no," she muttered repeatedly, dashing barefoot across the lobby. Edmund watched, stifling a grin, as she hurled her bag behind the desk and frantically slipped on her shoes while steadying the coffee. "You're the new lad?" she asked without glancing up, sliding her foot into the second shoe. "First shift. Welcome to the circus." She looked at him then, flashing a warm, infectious smile that lit up her entire face. "I'm Eleanor Brooks, receptionist and unofficial minder to entitled guests who reckon the planet spins just for them." Edmund straightened, leaning on his mop. "Ted, did I miss a spot there?" Eleanor nodded towards the damp patch on the floor. "You gave it a good go. Bet it was that chap in suite 1408. Drops crumbs all over the lobby every evening." She rolled her eyes. "Last week he managed it in the lift, right in front of a crowd. The manager never even bothered to have a word. The manager, useless bloke in a posh suit." Eleanor sipped her coffee. "He'll swan in shortly to treat you like dirt, and you'll be tempted to walk out before lunch. My tip: tune him out completely." Before Edmund could reply, the lift doors slid open, and Reginald emerged, impeccably tailored charcoal suit, slicked back hair, and that familiar air of self-importance. "Eleanor, 5 minutes late again." "Lovely morning to you too, Reginald." She appeared utterly "This is unacceptable, and your uniform looks like you've slept in it. It's spotless. If you want someone starched and flawless, hire a mannequin, not a receptionist." Reginald's cheeks flushed crimson. "Mind your tone, Miss Brooks." "You first, Reginald, especially after you left 3 guests hanging about for half an hour yesterday because you were holed up watching videos on your mobile." Edmund bit his lip to suppress a chuckle. This woman was fearless. "How dare you accuse me, because it's true. And guess who sorted it? Me." As per usual, Eleanor folded her arms and met his glare without flinching. Reginald opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again like a goldfish gasping for air. Finally, he spun towards Edmund. "You, cleaner. The 3rd floor loose. Or a disgrace. Get up there now." "Actually," Eleanor cut in smoothly, "the 3rd floor team doesn't start until 7. It's on the rota. The one you signed off yourself, Reginald." "Shall I fetch it to jog your memory?" Reginald practically snarled. "I am the manager of this hotel, and I am the receptionist who stops this place descending into chaos." Eleanor offered a saccharine smile. "So how about you do your job and let me do mine for once?" Edmund expected an explosion, but Reginald merely huffed, turned on his heel, and stormed off to his office, slamming the door behind him. Eleanor counted 2-3 under her breath, then burst into quiet laughter. The man's utterly hopeless. Honestly, no idea how he still has a job. "You always speak to your boss like that?" Edmund asked, genuinely impressed. "Boss?" Eleanor pulled a face. "Reginald isn't my proper boss. He's just a puffed-up middleman who loves throwing his weight around. The real owner. Never set eyes on him. Probably lounging on some yacht in the Med, counting his millions." Edmund nearly choked on air. "Anyway," Eleanor continued, "don't let Reginald rattle you. All bark, no bite. If he gives you grief, come find me. I'll sort him. You'd stick up for me." "Course. We've got to look out for each other. This hotel doesn't run on clueless managers. It runs on people like us, who actually graft. She tapped the desk firmly. Round here, we don't bow to anyone who hasn't earned respect. Just then, an elderly guest approached, clearly annoyed. At last, does anyone man this desk, or must I stand here all morning? Eleanor's demeanor shifted instantly to warm professionalism. Good morning, madam. Terribly sorry for the wait. How may I assist? My room's absolutely Baltic. Turned the heating on last night, and nothing. That's dreadful. You must have been freezing. Eleanor was already typing. Let me see, Mrs. Hargreaves. Room 512. Right. I'll send maintenance, straight away. In the meantime, how about we move you to a lovely suite on the 10th floor, complimentary? Of course, the least we can do. Mrs. Hargreaves blinked in surprise. Really? Absolutely. And I'll have fresh coffee and warm pastries sent up. Sound all right. Well, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your understanding. Eleanor handed over the new key with a smile. Enjoy your morning, Mrs. Hargreaves. The woman walked away beaming, utterly transformed. Edmund stood there, stunned. You just upgraded her for free. And Eleanor shrugged. She had every right to complain. Now she'll leave happy, post a glowing review, and return. Simple. Treat people decently, and they come back. Does Reginald approve these upgrades? Eleanor laughed. Reginald barely approves of breathing. I do what's right, not what he dictates. Edmund gripped his mop, utterly captivated. In mere minutes, she'd stood up to the manager, defended a stranger, and resolved a complaint with grace and generosity. She was remarkable, and Reginald was most definitely getting the sack. Oh, Ted. Eleanor called. When you're done there, pop over. I'll show you the proper hotel hacks. Teams got to stick together. Yeah. Edmund smiled. Yeah, of course. As he resumed polishing, he realized this disguise might be the smartest move he'd made in years. He wouldn't just uncover the hotel's problems. He'd discover everything about Eleanor Brooks. Edmund spent the rest of the morning feigning work while secretly observing Eleanor. What a performance it was. At half 8, a businessman stormed in, fuming that he'd missed a crucial meeting because of the hotel. Sir, did you request a wake-up call for 6? Eleanor asked calmly. No, 7. Eleanor checked the system. Records show you rang yesterday at 10 p.m. Asking for 7 sharp because, and I quote, you needed a proper lion. The man flushed. Well, I no worries. Eleanor smiled. We all mix up times. My nan once turned up to church on Saturday, thinking it was Sunday. Sat front row while the choir rehearsed. The vicar was ever so polite. She winked. Shall I arrange a taxi? Black cab? Hot air balloon? The man cracked a reluctant smile. Taxio, to. Already on its way. Good luck with the meeting. If they're cross, tell them you stopped to help a pensioner cross the road. Works every time. He left chuckling and shaking his head. Edmund was gobsmacked. She'd diffused fury and sent the guest off smiling in under 2 minutes. Ted. Ted. Need a favor. He abandoned the mop. Spilled to clean. Nah. Need an accomplice. She lowered her voice conspiratorially. See that couple on the sofa? The Thompsons. Today's their golden wedding anniversary. 50 years. Lovely. More than lovely. Incredible. And guess what Reginald did when they mentioned it yesterday? Sweet Effa. Not even a congratulations. Eleanor rolled her eyes. so I'm sorting a little surprise. But I need you to keep Reginald occupied for 10 minutes. How? Go to his office. Spill something. Ask daft questions. Whatever. Just keep him busy. Edmund grinned. On it. He knocked on Reginald's door. What now? Reginald snapped without looking up. Sorry to disturb, sir. Where's the cleaning cupboard again? Basement. End of the corridor. Heavy sigh. And the key. Obviously you need a key. From whom? The supervisor. Where might she be? Reginald finally glared. How should I know? But you're the manager, ... double quotes, for a full 10 minutes. Reginald ranted about respect, protocol, and professionalism. None of which answered the question. Edmund nodded along, mentally tallying severance costs. When he escaped and returned to the lobby, he stopped dead. Silver balloons festooned the desk. A small celebration cake glowed with candles. Chilled Prosecco waited in flutes, and Eleanor was presenting red roses to Mrs. Thompson, who had tears in her eyes. 50 years together. You're an inspiration, Eleanor said, hugging them both. How did you know? Mr. Thompson asked, voice thick. Tread secret. Eleanor winked. Actually, you mentioned it yesterday, and I made a note. Anniversaries never slip past on my watch. Other guests began clapping. Phones appeared for photos. Mrs. Thompson radiated joy. Edmund watched from a distance, enchanted. A Betty beat to feet balloons. Cake, flowers, fizz paid for out of Eleanor's own pocket. When the Thompsons headed upstairs with their treats, Eleanor slipped back behind the desk, beaming. Mission accomplished with the dragon? She asked. He ranted solidly for 10 minutes. Brilliant. Cheers, partner. She held up her hand for a high five. Edmund slapped it, laughing. You paid for all that yourself. Course. The hotel wasn't going to bother, so I did. Must have cost a bit. Eleanor shrugged. Some things matter more than money. Did you see their faces? Worth every penny. Before Edmund could reply, Reginald thundered in like a storm cloud. Eleanor, what on earth is all this rubbish? Rubbish. She glanced around innocently. Looks tidy to me. Balloons. Cake. Who authorized spending hotel funds? I did. It's the Thompsons' golden anniversary. You have no authority. Didn't touch hotel funds. Used my own wages. You know what we earn by actually working. Made an elderly couple's day. Problem. That is, it's quotes. S. ... double quotes. Reginald spluttered. It's thoughtful, generous, exactly the service that keeps guests returning. Eleanor flashed a saccharine smile. Reginald opened and closed his mouth repeatedly, like a fish floundering on dry land. Finally, he jabbed a finger in her direction. You'll regret that attitude. Miss Brooks. And you'll end up running this place into the ground if you carry on being rude to everyone, Reginald. He stormed off. Eleanor waited until he'd vanished, then spun to Edmund. You know what Reginald's real problem is? What's that? He reckons managing means barking orders, but proper managing is looking after things. The people, the building, the little details. She let out a weary sigh. I wager the owner hasn't a clue he's got someone like him in charge. Edmund nearly coughed up his coffee. Someone like him. Yeah, all soft, yellow on the outside, and about as useful as a chocolate teapot. He burst out laughing, leaning on the counter for support. You're brilliant, Eleanor. I know, she winked, and you're all right yourself, Ted. Most new cleaners scarper after one run-in with Reginald, but you held your ground, learned from the best. Edmund grinned. Oh, stop. You'll have me welling up. Eleanor pretended to dab her eyes. Now back to work. Before they think we're plotting a coup, aren't we? Corse, we are. But keep it hush. She pressed a finger to her lips in mock secrecy. Edmund returned to the service area, grabbed his mop, but couldn't wipe the smile off his face. In just a few hours undercover, he'd uncovered 3 vital truths. First, Reginald was even worse than the reports suggested and needed sacking on the spot. Second, the hotel wasn't succeeding because of management. It was succeeding in spite of it, thanks to staff like Eleanor. Third, he was utterly smitten with a witty receptionist who spent her own wages on balloons and called the manager a chocolate teapot. His phone buzzed in his pocket, a message from the company VP with an urgent meeting report needing approval by morning. Edmund glanced at the screen, then at Eleanor humming away while sorting paperwork at the desk. For the first time in a decade, he ignored Italiano. Some things mattered more than reports, like finding out if Eleanor Brooks was single. The next morning, Edmund arrived at 6 on the dot. Better prepared. He'd bought a fresh set of overalls, still unflattering, but at least they didn't reek of damp. He'd even watched a few YouTube tutorials on proper floor polishing. Daft. Absolutely. Essential. Without question. Elena breezed in 15 minutes later, bang on time but with her hair wilder than ever. "Morning, partner in crime," she called across the empty lobby. "Survive your first day." "Just about. You." "Always. I'm like a London fox, indestructible." She chucked her bag behind the counter, though I did dream Reginald inflated like a balloon and drifted off over the Thames. Glorious. Edmund chuckled as he wrung out the mop. Someone should invent that. Eleanor booted up the computer and groaned. "Oh no. There's a solicitors' conference in the ballroom today. 200 of them. That bad. Lawyers in packs are like seagulls, noisy, demanding, and they leave crumbs everywhere." She sighed, theatrically. "Keep that mop handy, Ted." As if summoned, Reginald emerged from the lift clutching a clipboard. "Eleanor, the conference kicks off at 9. Everything must be impeccable. Fresh coffee, snacks laid out, no coke-ups. Reginald, chill. I know my job. Your job is to follow my lead. Your leads usually involve doing nothing and letting it all go pear-shaped, so I'll stick to my way, TA." She beamed innocently. Reginald jabbed a finger, but the desk phone rang first. "Front desk. Eleanor speaking," she sang. "Yes, sir. Gutted ... sorted." She hung up and eyed Reginald. "Guest in 804 says the shower's got no pressure. Send maintenance after the conference." "Reginald, the bloke's paying, top whack. He wants a proper shower now, not in 2 hours. Not a priority." Elena was already dialing. "Hiya, Rick. Elena here. Pop up to 804. Taloof." Reginald went. "Beetroot, I didn't authorize." "Didn't ask for permission?" She winked. Edmund watched it all while polishing the same spot for the 10th time. The woman was unstoppable. Beelf, 8, the solicitors flooded in, and Eleanor was spot on. Loud, picky, moaning about everything. Coffee too weak. Biscuits not salty enough. Wi-Fi. Passwordware. Eleanor handled them with saintly patience, but Edmund spotted the telltale twitch in her temple. Then arrived the worst of the lot. Pinstripe suit, greased hair, voice like a foghorn. "Your receptionist," he bellowed, slamming the counter. "Now. Good morning, sir. How can I help?" Name's Harold Sinclair, senior partner at one of the biggest firms in the city. "I booked the presidential suite. You've stuck me in some bog standard room." Eleanor tapped away. "Mr. Sinclair." "System shows a standard booking." "Impossible." "I always have the presidential. I understand, but that's what's reserved. This is outrageous. Fetch the manager. Now." Eleanor inhaled deeply. Edmund saw her silently count to 10. "I'll get him, sir." She nipped to Reginald's office and returned with him in tow. "Mr. Sinclair." Reginald oozed falsely. "Terribly sorry. We'll sort this at once." "You'd better." "Do you know who I am?" "Important guest." Reginald typed frantically. "Sadly, the presidential is occupied until tomorrow. I can offer. Don't care. I want it now." "Turf out." "Whoever's in there." Edmund nearly dropped his bucket. The nerve. Reginald dithered. Typical coward. "Well, sir, We can't exactly then. Upgrades me. Anything but this hovel for the plebs. Eleanor, silent until then, stepped forward. Mr. Sinclair, with respect, all our rooms are calling on a pleb's room insults every guest who stays in them. Harold glared like she'd crawled out from under a stone. Who are you to lecture me? The receptionist trying to help without evicting another guest. Insolent girl. Manager. This employee just insulted me. Eleanor, Reginald hissed. Apologize. For what? Speak in facts. You're fired! Harold roared. You don't employ me. Manager sack her now, or I'll pull the entire conference. Edmund watched Reginald waver. Mental arithmetic clear as day. 200 solicitors meant big revenue. Eleanor was just staff. Eleanor! Reginald said slowly. Go home. Suspended until further notice. Edmund's blood ran cold. The spineless git was actually doing it. Punishing the best worker for a pompous bully. You're joking, Eleanor whispered, stunned, deadly serious. Leave. For a second, Edmund thought she'd break, but she squared her shoulders, snatched her bag, and stared Reginald down. 3 years I've been here. Reginald, 3 years covering your mess, fixing your cock-ups, keeping this place afloat while you scroll on your phone. She turned to Harold, and you big-shot solicitor. Shouting at staff doesn't make you important. Just rude. How dare I? Dare? Because I've got self-respect, something you two clearly lack. She glanced at the watching staff. Good luck, everyone. You'll need it. And she walked out, head high. Edmund gripped his mop, heart pounding, as the woman he'd come to admire was humiliated and sent packing. Harold swaggered back to the ballroom. Smug. Reginald slunk to his office, relieved, and Edmund Harrington made his choice. He pulled out his phone and fired off a text to his solicitor. Need you at the Regency Grand now. Bring ownership papers. It was 9 on an ordinate Tuesday, but in 1 hour. Certain people would learn the hard way that picking on the wrong person had consequences, and Edmund would ensure Eleanor Brooks got the justice she deserved. 50 minutes later, a sharply suited man entered, carrying a leather briefcase. Thomas Green Edmonds, solicitor of 10 years, scanned the lobby and barely recognized his boss in overalls. Mr. Harrington, he murmured, approaching. Tom, papers. Here. But this is barking mad. Thomas eyed the outfit. Why the fancy dress? Long story. Reginald? Office, I expect. Edmund exhaled. Good. Let's finish this. They marched to the office. Edmund knocked once and barged in. Reginald glanced up from his phone, irritated. What now? Cleaner. And who's this? Thomas Green, solicitor. You're dismissed for incompetence, neglect, and mistreating outstanding staff. Reginald went dash on. This ... This is a wind-up. No wind-up. Reality. 30 minutes to clear out and hand in your bat. But I've managed here 5 years and ruined its reputation in months. Reviews plummeted. Guests fled. You treated staff like dirt. Edmund leaned in. Your worst mistake. Suspending Eleanor Brooks. The only one who truly cared and kept this place running. Reginald gulped. I can explain, no need. It's all in the reports. Edmund nodded to Thomas. 30 minutes. They left Reginald reeling. And now, Thomas said, the rude solicitor. Harold Sinclair was in the ballroom, booming into his phone with wild gestures. Edmund strode straight over. Mr. Sinclair, a word. Herod sneered at the overalls. I don't speak to cleaners. Clear off. Edmund Harrington. I own this hotel. Harold barked a laugh. Pull the other one. Thomas stepped up. I represent Mr. Harrington. He is indeed the owner. The laughter died. You're serious? Deadly. Edmund kept calm. Your booking is terminated. 1 hour to vacate. You can't. I can. And to have. My hotel. My rules. I'll sue. Ruin you? Feel free. Edmund smiled thinly. My solicitor recorded this morning's incident. The shouting, insults, demanding an employee be sacked for doing her job. This is all documented. Thomas tapped the briefcase. Start a fight if you like. Won't end well. The other solicitors watched, silently. Ladies and gentlemen, Edmund announced, regretfully, the conference is cancelled. You may remain as hotel guests, but events are suspended. Apologies some. Right again. Edmund stepped closer. Eleanor. I went undercover because reviews were tanking, guests complaining, and Reginald swore everything was fine. Needed the truth. So you spied on us. Not on you. On the operation. He sighed. Found it. Problem wasn't the hotel. It was management. Reginald was awful. Staff suffered, yet the place ran because of people like you. Sorry I didn't reveal sooner, but as the owner, no one speaks freely. Edmund sat beside her on the sofa, leaving a polite gap. I came because you were suspended unfairly, and, technically, because of me. Because of you. If I'd revealed who I was, the moment that solicitor started shouting, none of this would have happened. Harold Sinclair's a proper plunker, Eleanor muttered, but I chose to stand up to him. It was my decision and the right one. You defended your principles, protected the dignity of the job, and showed more backbone than half the executives I've met. Edmund smiled. That's why I'm here. Reginald's been sacked. Eleanor nearly dropped the ice cream tub. Sacked? Today? An hour ago. Edmund recounted everything. His unmasking, Reginald's dismissal, Harold Sinclair being shown the door, the promises made to the staff. When he finished, Eleanor was speechless. You sacked Reginald and booted out an important solicitor. Not just Yubi, because of everyone he mistreated. But yes, you were the final straw. Blimey. Eleanor raked a hand through her hair. I don't even know what to say. You don't have to say anything, but there's something I want to offer you. If it's my old job back, I'm in. Rent doesn't pay itself. Edmund laughed. More than that, I want to offer you the manager's position. The silence was so complete he could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. No hotel management degree. No fancy MBA, just 3 years behind the front desk. And that's precisely why you're perfect. He turned to face her fully. You know this hotel inside out better than any outsider ever could. You know, every department, every member of staff, every type of guest. And, most importantly, you actually care. Eleanor, in 2 days I watched you sort more problems than Reginald managed in months. You calmed furious guests, looked out for new starters, and kept the whole place ticking while the official manager hid in his office, doing sod. He smiled. You've been doing the manager's job for years, you. Just never had the title or the pay. And if I cock it all up, you won't. But if you need support, I'll be here. I'll be staying in London the next few months to oversee the changes. You won't be on your own. Eleanor bit her lip, thinking. What's the salary? Edmund told her the figure. She choked. That's 4 times what I earn now. It's standard for a luxury hotel manager. Edmund, that's a lot. It's what you deserve. He extended his hand. So do you accept? Eleanor glanced at his hand, then around the tiny flat, then back at him. One condition. Name it. No special treatment just because we're mates. If I mess up, you tell me straight. No favors. Edmund grinned. You've spent 2 days sticking up for me and I've just offered you your dream job. I'd say that makes us mates, wouldn't it? She smiled back. It does. Condition accepted. He kept his hand out. Anything else? Just one. I get to decorate my own office. No interference. Decorate it however you like, even if you cover the walls in massive cat posters. Even 10 massive cat posters. Deal! Eleanor finally shook his hand. Then I officially accept. Edmund felt a strange flutter in his chest relief. Joy, and something warmer he couldn't quite name. Brilliant. You start Monday. Monday. It's Tuesday. Exactly. You've the rest of the week off. Rest. Relax. Come Monday, you take over a hotel with fresh uniforms, updated systems, and a motivated team. He stood. And Eleanor, thank you for being you, for having the guts, the integrity, and never bowing to anyone who didn't deserve it. The hotel needs more of that. Eleanor rose too, blinking away a tear. Boy, don't set me off. I've cried enough into this ice cream today. Sorry. He headed for the door, then turned. About the disguise, ... forgiven. Weird, but I get why. She folded her arms, smiling. Just don't do it again without giving me a heads up. Promise. When Edmund stepped out onto the street, he was grinning like an idiot. Truncated for brevity, perhaps a touch. And now I'm dining with the funniest, bravest, most incredible woman I've ever met. Edmund reached for her hand, not lonely in the slightest. Eleanor blushed, smooth talker. Just honest, Giuseppe. Returned with wine and bruschetta. Eat. Conversation flowed effortlessly. Childhood, tales, family anecdotes, dreams, fears. Age 5, birthday party. Clown in a creepy mask chased me round the garden, scarred for life. Edmund Harrington, fearsome tycoon. Scared of clowns. Tears of laughter streamed down her face. This is priceless. Keep it quiet. I'll tell the world. She wiped her eyes. My turn. I'm terrified of lifts. Edmund blinked. You work in a 20-story building. Exactly. Stairs, everyday freak flights and heels. No joke. That's why you were always puffing in the mornings. Guilty. Got trapped in one for 2 hours as a kid. Only use them if life depends on it. I moved your office to the ground floor on purpose. Helen mentioned it. Eleanor stared. You did that for me. Wanted you comfortable. Edmund Harrington, you are a genuinely good man. She ruins my ruthless reputation. They laughed, the sound warm and easy, as if they'd known each other years. Mains arrived carbonara for him, pesto for her. Personal question, Eleanor asked. Twirling pasta, fire away. Why the disguise? Really? Beyond checking reviews, was there more? Edmund set down his fork. Honesty. I was exhausted, tired of sycophants agreeing with everything because I'm the boss. Living in an echo chamber. Wanted to be plain Edmund, no. Title, no force, un just ordinary. And was it better than I imagined? Real conversations beat multi-million deals, and I found you. Eleanor clutched her napkin. Stop being perfect. You're making keep it professional very hard. And if I don't want professional distance, then we're in trouble. She smiled. Because neither do I. Dessert. Complimentary tiramisu. Courtesy of Giuseppe's. Dramatic wink. Outside. Midnight had come and gone. London shimmered under streetlights. November air crisp. Thank you, Eleanor said. Perfect evening. Thank you for saying yes. Edmund offered his arm. Walk you home. I'd like that. They strolled unhurriedly, savoring the quiet streets. You know, Eleanor said, that Tuesday. Tussed in late. Hiramesai. Never dreamt my life would flip upside down. For the better, much better. She rested her head briefly on his shoulder. Met my boss undercover. Told off a pompous solicitor. Became manager. And now I'm strolling with a billionaire scared of clowns. Sounds like a film. Does rather. She stopped at her building, but it's real. My real life, and it's been wonderful. Edmund took her hands. Eleanor, I know I'm technically your boss. Complications and all. But kiss me already, Edmund. He blinked. What? We've been dithering 10 minutes. You want to? I want to stop hesitating? He laughed, drew her close. You're impossible. I know. Now, kiss me. And he did soft. Sweet. Perfect. The kind that stops time. And sets the heart racing. When they parted, both grinning foolishly. Wow, Eleanor whispered. Wow, Edmund agreed. So, ... We're doing this. Dating, if you want to, absolutely. She kissed him quickly again. Tomorrow I'm still your manager. You're still my boss. Utterly weird. Completely. She stepped up. Good night, Edmund. Good night. Eleanor. He waited until her window lit up, then walked home through London glowing, happy, and utterly in love. Next morning, Edmund arrived at 6:15, not because he had to, but because he wanted to see her. Eleanor appeared at 20 past. Their eyes met, and they both smiled like smitten teenagers. Morning, Mr. Harrington, she said with mock formality, eyes sparkling. Morning, Miss Brooks. He resisted the urge to kiss her on the spot. Sleep well. Like a log. Dreamt of clowns chasing you. Cheeky. Thought you'd appreciate it. She brushed past towards the office. Team meeting in 15, don't be late, boss. Keeping it professional proved harder than anticipated. Edmund invented reasons to pass her office. Eleanor found excuses to seek approvals she didn't need. Thomas observed with a smug grin, You're both hopeless at subtle. He said the fourth time Edmund happened by the desk. We're not pretending. 3 visits and half-an-hour towels. Breakfast menu. And... what was the third? Forgot. Precisely. Thomas chuckled. Just tell the staff. We can't look like favoritism. Edmund, everyone already knows. Helen spotted the gooey eyes yesterday. Dorman says you're smiling too much. Relief receptionist swears Eleanor's been humming all morning, and no one hums unless they're in love. Rubbish. Truth. Before Edmund could argue, Eleanor rushed out. Edmund problem. What? Benjamin Fletcher's review just dropped. She showed him her phone. 5 stars. Glowing praise for the view, service, staff, warmth. Ending. The Regency Grand is more than luxury, it's where you truly matter. Manager Eleanor Brooks is outstanding. Owner Edmund Harrington clearly values people above marble. Highly recommended. Incredible. Edmund hugged her impulsively. She hugged back, laughing. We did it. You two are definitely dating. Helen called across the lobby. They sprang apart. The entire staff watched, grinning. We Eleanor started. Yes, Edmund confirmed. We are. The lobby erupted in cheers and applause. Finally, Helen whooped. Told everyone ages ago. How long? The relief receptionist asked. Since last night, Eleanor admitted. We'll keep it professional, Edmund added. Course you will, Helen teased. That's why you've wandered past 3 times today. Mr. Harrington 4 towels. Menus. ... double quotes. Edmund flushed. Legitimate reasons. Reason 1. See Eleanor. Reason 2. See Eleanor. Oh, right. Eleanor laughed. Back to work we've. A hotel to run. The team dispersed. Atmosphere buoyant. Thomas sidled up. See? Easy. Shut up, Tom. Never. The following weeks were bliss. The hotel flourished, reviews soared. Staff thrived. Edmund and Eleanor balanced work and romance remarkably well. Dinner 3 times a week. Exploring London's restaurants, Giuseppe treated them like family. Then, one grey November afternoon, everything shifted. Edmund was in the office when the chain's director rang. Mr. Harrington. European consortium wants to buy the entire group. Billions on the table. Edmund's stomach sank. The board urges serious consideration. You'd never need work at Jenner Tire. Travel ... double. Coot's not interested. He hung up, unsettled. That evening, back at his flat, a registered letter awaited formal offer from the consortium. Eye-watering figures, countless perks, and one stipulation. Acceptance required him to relocate to Paris to oversee the transition. Edmund crumpled the letter and binned it. Paris for at least 2 years. Miles from London, from the Regency Grand, from Eleanor. Next morning, the chairman rang. Edmund, we must discuss the offer in person. Said no already. Reconsider. Board's divided, but most favorite. Your majority shareholder, you're a Calbat. It's a fortune. Edmund ended the call, exhausted by the lot. At the hotel, Eleanor spotted it at once. You all right? Fine. Work stuff. Rubbish. She shut the door. Out with it. He explained the bid. The pressure. The Paris stipulation. Eleanor paled. You'll sell? No. He clasped her hands. Board doesn't rule me. Not selling. Not relocating to Paris. Not leaving you. Edmund Billions. My life's here with you. This hotel. Our people. He drew her in. No money's worth that. Tears brimmed. Sure, dead, sure. He kissed her forehead. Got all I need right here. That afternoon, Edmund formally declined. Outrage. Resignations. 3 board members quit. He replaced them with those who valued more than profit. Thomas became executive vice president. The Regency Grand thrived. Benjamin Fletcher returned months later with global travel. Writers all raved. It topped best in London lists. Bookings tripled. Eleanor remained its star manager. One December Friday, she entered his office with a box. What's this? Gift. Not my birthday. Doesn't matter, saw it. Thought of you. Edmund opened it. Framed photos of him in overalls. polishing the lobe snapped secretly by her. Never forget where it started, she smiled. Billionaire undercover as cleaner meets feisty receptionist. Edmund gazed at the image. Then her best call I ever made. A greedy. She settled on his lap. Funny you came fault-finding and found a girlfriend instead. Far better. Definitely. She kissed him. Come on, Giuseppe's waiting. You know his strop when we're late. Edmund took her hand. Off we go. As they left, he glanced back. That building had rewritten his life. He'd never trade it. 6 months, blurred by enjoy. Hotel, perpetually packed, staff energized, Edmund happier than ever. He and Eleanor now shared a light-filled Kensington flat overlooking Hyde Park, plenty of wall space for her 15 cat posters. Modern art, she'd defend. Cat invasion, he'd retort. Secretly, he adored the Mander. One June morning, Edmund woke early. Watching her sleep, auburn hair splayed, he decided. Now, he slipped out, rang Thomas. Mr. Harrington 6 a.m. Hotel Largen. Crisis. No proposing to Eleanor. Pause. Then Thomas yelled so loud Edmund recoiled. Finally. When? Soon. Need planning help. Coming. An hour later. Edmund, Thomas, and Giuseppe plotting. Romantic Giuseppe flourished. Candles? Music. Hotel, Thomas said. They're beginning. Surprise. Edmund stressed. She detests predictable. 3 hours plan per fortnight of covert ops. With staff. Helen flowers. Doorman lights. Giuseppe? Dinner. Edmund selected the ring and air-statted elegant diamond. Pure Eleanor. Date. June 20th, 6 months since their first kiss. That morning, Eleanor woke, unsuspecting. Morning, love, kiss. Fake safety inspection today. Remember, his ruse for setup time. Loath, inspections tedious. Necessary. She sighed. Later, Edmund waited 10, then dashed over. Every one action. Labby transformed blooms abound twinkling lights. Central candlelit table. Perfect, Helen clapped. She blubbed, doorman predicted, teary. Blubbing already, Giuseppe dabbed eyes. True. Love cinema. By 6 September, Edmund suited up. Ring checked 10th time. Stomach in knots. Thomas, Eleanor's en route. From inspection, 5 minutes. Jittery. You've stared down boardroom battles now, quaking over a proposal. Apples and pears. Tom. This matters most. Thomas grinned. Then smash it. Eleanor burst in. What a farce 3 hours, on extinguishers, and froze. Flowers. Lights. Table. What? ... Staff beamed. Edmund? He stepped from roses. Hi! All this surprise? Why? Not my birthday. No. Hendon Harris led center. But anniversary 6 months since our first kiss. Blush, you remembered. Every bit. You telling me to quit stalling and kiss you? Smile. Hair loose. Floral scent. Heart pounding. Edmund ... double quotes, tears welled. 6 months ago. Undercover cleaner seeking faults. Found treasure. Sweeping gesture. Woman shielding staff. Buying balloons from her wages for golden anniversaries. Wittiest, brightest, most remarkable soul. Stop I'll ball publicly. One more. He knelt. Eleanor gasped, hand over mouth. Eleanor Brooks. You rewrote my existence. Lonely workaholic scarfing pasta solo at Giuseppe's. Now blissfully content with world's finest company. Box out. Marry me. Hushed lobby. Eleanor-eyed dring. Himmy misty-eyed staff. Look at me. Hair disaster. Makeup rind. And you pick no. Perfect timing you're. Always stunning. Liar but alright. Tear wipe. Yes. You daft romantic. I'll marry you, Rain. On Finger. He rose into her kiss. Lobby erupted to applause. Sobs. Giuseppe wailed. Bellissimo. Better than tele. Helen hugged Orman. Wedding. Wedding. Thomas surreptitiously dabbed eyes. Kiss broke. Eleanor admired ring. Spot on how. I pay attention. Stop. Tight. Hug. Thanks for seeing me. Believing. Loving. Thanks for ordering that kiss. Too much dithering. Nerves. Now ecstatic. He twirled her. World's greatest woman said yes, because you're tenacious and clown-fearing makes you real. Never live down telling, Giuseppe. Wise, no clown hire for the wedding. No clowns, Edmund and Giuseppe chorused. Laughter, evening flowed. Giuseppe's feast, wine, Daly's emotion. Staff recounted early signs. Defending her against Reginald knew you were smitten, Helen said, sacrificing sweet for critic due. Anything for her, Dorman added. Gooey Stairs wedding bells obvious. Relief receptionist finished. Eleanor laugh cried. That blatant. Completely. Unison reply. Midnight, hotel quiet. They lingered alone in lobby. So, she nestled close. Engaged. We are. Odd manager to owner's fiancé. Led gossip. We know truth. Which? You earned every bit through merit best manager ever. Owner just happened to fall madly in love. Eleanor beamed. Madly. Utterly. Irrevocably. Eternally. Good with words. Learned from the master. He kissed her forehead. Ready to wed an ex-cleaner. Utterly. Laugh. Ready for a bullshit ex? Couldn't be readier. There, amid flowers and candlelight in their beginnings. Labby. 3 months on, sunny September morning. The Regency Grand buzzed with joy. White blooms everywhere. Chairs adorned in the courtyard garden. Staff dashing for perfection. Wedding day. Edmund in old Reginald's office, now groom's room paced. Nerves frayed. Stop fiddling the tie, Thomas repeated. Flawless. What if she bolts? Won't? Trip down the aisle. No aisle garden path. Still trip. Why so rattled? Marrying my everything. Thomas adjusted jacket. Normal. You at yours? Threw up on best man's shoe. Not helping. Truth's Thomas smiled. After 15 brilliant years. Breathe. Savor. Across hotel. Eleanor in former presidential suite with Helen and Mum Linda. Hands off hair. Helen swatted third time. Not crooked. Perfect. Linda cupped her face. Beautiful. Darling. Mira. Simple, elegant. Lace dress. Hair soft bun with white blooms. Still me. You glowing bride edition, Helen assured. Thought I'd be wreck. Nerves. Linda. No happy. Just Eleanor grinned. I should panic. But picturing Edmund tripping into garden. He will. Helen chuckled. Likely. Been jittery days. Bouquet checkmate. Calm as anything. Nuck. Giuseppe. With tray. Water for bride. Giuseppe. Guests. Must see bride first. Tears bellissima. Edmund lucky. He knows. Hug thanks for dinners. Support. Friendship. My joy your family. I wipe. Out before mascara disaster. Garden soon. Linda closer. Ready? More than ceremony for sharp. 3 50-50 guests seated. Staff, friends, family. Thompson's front row. Emotional. Fletcher traveled from Paris. Surprise! Reginald sent congrats card from unemployment, presumably. 4 on dot music. Edmund entered with Tomasno trip. Eleanor's hidden disappointment. Her turn. Garden doors opened. Eleanor and father's. Arm Edmund breathless. Stunning. Confident stride. Smiles. Waves like catwalk queen. Only she could glam a wedding. Thomas whispered grin. Show off. Father kissed forehead. Sat fat, facing Edmund. Hi, whisper. Hi. Beautiful. You too know. Chip yet. Efficient. We gathered to celebrate Edmund Harrington and Eleanor Brooks met most unusually. Guest chuckles. Edmund deep breath. Eleanor undercover cleaner, seeking faults. Found you. No fault. All fix. For loneliness. Empty days. Everything absent till you. Hands held. Taught courage means fearing, yet acting. True love's no wealth or title waking beside you. Knowing day's good, because you're there. Voice cracked. Promise love, always joyful hums, or Reginald rants. Ex-Reginald. Partner, friend, forever. Eleanor teary. Public crying again. Laughter. My go. I wipe. Edmundu? In overalls. Thought another quitter. You stayed. Defended. Saw me truly. Smile through tears. Could have anyone posher, who skips calling bosses chocolate teapots. Chose me headstrong receptionist. Because you're good proper good. Value people over polish. Worth beyond roles. Hand squeeze. Promise love always Ivan. Pre-meeting jitters. Clown nightmares. Partner in work. Life. Love forever. Rings Thomas undead. Edmund slipped on. With this ring, I marry you. Eleanor. With this ring, I marry you and claim sole right to call you Ted the cleaner. Laughter. By my power husband and wife. Kiss your bride. Edmund drew her in deep, joyous kiss. Garden row red applause. Cheers. Tears. Giuseppe bawled. Helen pet. Linda and father clung weeping. Thomas subtle dab. Reception in ballroom. Elegant Giuseppe's feast. Live band. Dinner toasts. Thomas. New Edmund decade workaholic hermit. Then cleaner disguise. Glass. Raced. Found Eleanor made him laugh. Challenge. Love him for him. Not fortune. Too unlikely perfection. Cheers. Helen. 3 years. With Eleanor bravest. Funniest. Loyal. Downed by Reginald. She raised us. Rude guests. Grace. Our leader. Mate. Family. Raise. Edmundu lucked out, she said. Yes. Laughter. Applause. Party till midnight dancing. Guests gone. They lingered in wedding garden. Now officially Eleanor Harrington. Keeping Brooks professionally Eleanor. Brooks manager. Roles better. Fair. Oh, my wife. Always. Lean in. Thanks for Undercover Tuesday. Seeing me. Transforming everything. Thanks for Kiss Command. Embracing flaws. Making me happiest alive. Under stars. In their origin hotel a disguised billionaire. Bold receptionist. Improbable love that altered all. As London's lights twinkled, Edmund and Eleanor Harrington entered hand in hand, stepping into life's grandest adventure together. What did you think of Edmund and Eleanor's story? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Rated 0 to 10, what's your score? Subscribe and hit the bell for more heartfelt Taily Stap. The end screen for the next emotional journey.